I'm very happy to talk about the supply chain of the future today. So I will cover 3 topics. One is we will look into the new supply chain complexities. We will then talk about the next generation supply chain. We will talk about what is here and what is new. And then we will go and watch a short video on the supply chain control tower. So let me start with what happened in the last 18 months. So COVID-19 did lead to a lot of disruptions, and these disruptions to our global supply chains. Right, so we saw shortages in semiconductors, we saw shortages in steel, saw shortages in rubber. We had the Suez Canal blockage. And the question is, did we learn anything from that? Did we improve our supply chains? And we are clearly here to make sure that we push the next generation supply chain. We were interested in understanding whether these disruptions happen more often or not. So we analyzed the disruptions over the last 20 years. And as you can see from this picture, yes, we have more disruptions. So the next disruptions is around the corner. It will probably not be a global pandemic, but it's around the corner. So we need to prepare for that. Very important. Question is, how severe is this disruption? So in our analysis on global value chains and risk and resilience, we looked into how often do we have a disruption. And disruption means that we cannot produce, we cannot source, and we cannot deliver. So what we found out is a disruption of 1 to 2 months happens roughly every 3.7 years. So it's something, again, we need to prepare for because it will happen in the future. Now you could say that, look, disruptions are normal. We just need to navigate through it, and then it will be over. So is there any impact? Is there any big money that we will lose if we don't prepare for the disruption? So we also looked into this. We looked into disruption for different industries and then analyzed what is the impact. So the disruption I just mentioned, every 3.7 years, we have 1 to 2 months of disruption that leads to a loss of 45% of a year's EBITDA during a decade. So that's significant money. It's 4.5% of a year's EBITDA every year. So this is something that we can invest in improving the resilience of our supply chain. We were interested in our clients, ask them, is there anything that you plan to invest to improve the resilience of your supply chain? Any digital tools, any new approaches? And 90% of our clients said, yes, we need to invest and we are going to invest. So what you see here is basically a comparison of what is it that we planned 1.5 years ago and where did we invest over the last 12 months? And you see a lot of companies are investing. In addition to this, we see that depending on the industry sector, there's a little bit of a difference. So consumer is already prepared. Automotive is an industry where we see the majority of the companies planning to invest significantly in improved planning solutions and improved digital solutions. Now let's move on to the next generation supply chain. Let's understand what we have and understand what is new. When we think about the next generation, we always think about 3 elements. And these 3 elements are basically the digital and the tech-enabled. So we have big data, we have advanced analytics, and we need to make sense out of this. Then, as we talked about resilience and disruptions, we need to make sure that we set up our supply chain for success and set up the supply chain for success in a resilient way. And we need to look into sustainability. Customers are asking for it, our consumers are asking for it. So we need to make sure that we have transparency and we operate a resilient supply chain. So let's get started with the resilience. What we developed here to understand where a company is the Supply Chain Resilience Index, SCRI, where we looked into basically 7 sources of resilience, which you see here. It's like financial, it's regulatory, it's operational, and so on. And we also combine this with looking into the process, looking into the governance, capability, and into the digital infrastructure. So what we do in this assessment is basically kind of understanding the current maturity of the company and comparing it with best practice, and with this derive ideas of how to improve and what to do to be better in terms of managing the disruptions. Now, what is it that we need to do? We have 3 horizons. One is firefighting. Firefighting is basically kind of setting up a daily nerve center. And here we kind of get active. We talk to our suppliers, we talk to our customers, we solve problems on a daily basis. And this is kind of very, very operational. This is clearly not sustainable. That's why we also need to move over to midterm and long-term resilience. Midterm is kind of the business continuity management. Here we typically have weekly cycles where we look into what is it that we expect in terms of the demand, what is it that we expect in terms of the supply. We look into disruptions that can affect demand and or supply. And what we then do is we evaluate measures to improve availability. And that could be that we use a different source. It could be that we use a different plant to produce. It could be that we increase inventory to make sure that we have the critical stuff available. We evaluate this in a financial model. So we do scenario planning. And then on a weekly basis, we meet, we sit together, and then we decide what to implement. This needs to be complemented by a strategic view where we want to understand what is the new normal supply chain. And here we take a strategic view in terms of resilient setup. So we do the scenario planning I just mentioned. We make sure that we have all information, external information, put into the scenario planning. But we also look into R&D. So can we improve the modularity of our components? Can we change the way our components are designed? Can we have more standardization? Can we also have agility in our production, in our sourcing process? And can we do demand shaping? Can we talk to our customers and have a joint agreement with them to offer not a product, but some solutions? With this, we are prepared for the next normal and much more sustainable. If we look into what happened during the COVID time, we call it a kind of a COVID digital booster. So we saw that the implementation of digital, as we also saw earlier with digital solutions, did increase significantly. So the challenge clearly is that now we are at an inflection point. So we can go back to normal, right? Use some of the new tools, but go back to the old processes, to the old behavior, or we can further improve. And this is what we should do, very, very clear. And to do that, we need to make sure that we have the right capabilities. And we will see the video on the supply chain control tower later. Here is where we build the capabilities. We want to implement autonomous end-to-end planning. And we want to make sure that we have advanced analytics together with our digital twin to be able to do the integrated planning and take decisions in a timely manner. How would a vision look like of this digital end-to-end? So we have all data that is required. We can, with this, do a much better forecast. This informs a kind of a much more accurate supply planning and S&OP. And we can do this in an autonomous way or in a near autonomous way. We have real-time data, so we don't need to wait, let's say, for the next monthly cycle. So we have real-time data, and with this, we manage our supply chain. And with this, we ensure best performance to our consumer and to our customer. Impact is significant. So what we see implementing these digital solutions, we are much more efficient. We can have much happier customer. And this is enabled by a significantly increased forecast accuracy. So how would the supply chain control tower look like? Imagine the new normal. The new normal is a supply chain which is super flexible. We can react within hours to any disruption, and we take advantage of our digital technology and our tools. And with this, we manage the variability. What we want to show you now is a real-life example. We will show you a video on how the supply chain control tower works.
The pandemic has left businesses and governments grappling with a perplexing collection of supply chain and logistical disruptions. To provide better guidance and visibility into the next generation of use cases, we are developing the Supply Chain Control Tower. It is a first-of-its-kind ecosystem featuring the most advanced Supply Chain 4.0 solutions and next-generation use cases, tightly integrated into a single narrative. It will act as a research and innovation hub to shape the cutting-edge use cases of tomorrow. In addition, the Supply Chain Control Tower will also serve as a state-of-the-art next-generation capability building center. A model company, FMCG Co., will replicate real-life problems and train participants to resolve the challenges through the triple transformation across business, technology, and organizations. Immersive training workshops will simulate a realistic transformation, which will require fast reactions and enable participants to enjoy a hands-on experience with the latest supply chain solutions as they solve problems at a strategic, tactical, and operational level. Leveraging digital tools and advanced analytics, the Supply Chain Control Tower will demonstrate what's in the realm of possible and raise knowledge and ambition of supply chain leaders and planners. The Supply Chain Control Tower is being developed through a knowledge partnership between A-Star and McKinsey & Company and will be housed at the Advanced Remanufacturing and Technology Center, a unit of A-Star, along with other technology leaders and cutting-edge supply chain solution partners, with the aim of helping companies solve their current challenges and enabling them to scale their digital operations transformations to better respond to future challenges.
Thanks a lot for attending this session on the future of supply chain. And if you would like to get a tour on our Supply Chain Control Tower, if you want to learn more about our Supply Chain Resilience Index, or if you want to learn more about the transformation of a company, please reach out to us. We will be happy to assist you.